Hey guys, Nick here. I'm going to go ahead and just state the obvious. This is a marketing tool for my real estate business. I've been a realtor for 20 years right here in Nashville. But who wants to listen to a boring podcast about real estate? Good news, it's not. This is a podcast about people that I've built relationships with since I moved here in 1988. If what I stand for resonates with you and you're looking to buy or sell a home in this area, let's talk. No pressure, just a conversation, kind of like this podcast.
This is the 615 Podcast with your host, veteran realtor and entrepreneur, Nick Woodard.
All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in again to the 615 Podcast. Today, we're going to do things a little bit different. I put some posts out on my social medias for just a Q&A session. A lot of people have questions about here in Middle Tennessee, maybe some real estate related questions, stuff like that. So these are some of the questions that were sent to me on my social media response, and just wanted to bring in producer Jim here, and we're going to talk about some of these topics and maybe shed a little light on some of these questions some people have. So number one question that came in right after I posted that, someone asked me, why are so many people moving here from California?
Scary. It's so scary.
What
do we do with all the Californians?
This is just from my experience asking questions to my clients that are moving here. So don't shoot the messenger if you have differentiating opinions. This is coming strictly from the horse's mouth. So the absolute number one reason I was told people are coming from the state of California was the cost of living. The cost of living in the state of California, whether it be gas, groceries, consumer products, all of those things are significantly higher priced than they are here. And number two was we have no state income tax here. In the state of California, there is a scale from 2 to 13% of a state income tax on top of your federal income tax. So to put that into perspective, someone making $200,000 a year is going to pay their 32% federal income tax. And in the state of California, they will have an additional 2.3% state income tax, which will be a total of 41% in total taxes paid. That's significant. For someone making $200,000 a year, that's almost $19,000 difference in the taxes they will pay living in the state of Tennessee compared to the state of California.
That's nuts.
Yes, sir.
That is why is it so expensive out there? What are you getting out of it? If you're listening to this,
could not tell you,
and you're living in California, you got to think about that one thing that's holding you back from leaving. And it might just be the work involved. It might be the cost. Who knows? But I mean, it's an instant pay raise.
Instant pay raise.
Yeah. I mean, you see guys like Grant Cardone, he's running for governor, at least wants to. Have you seen that?
That could be a good little shift over there.
Yeah, because I mean, but are there enough people to sway over? All the people that are voting red have moved away. So it's like
very true, very true.
So maybe that's not hopeless, but
and another. Ironically, another one of the answers when I asked this to clients of mine moving here from the state of California, what is important to you and why you moved? And a lot of people said personal freedom.
Yeah.
Things like gun ownership and carrying a firearm. A lot of people find it very, very difficult to obtain a carry permit in the state of California compared to here in Tennessee. We just had a client on that's going to be one of our podcast episodes that came here from the state of California. And I asked him what was his first impression of me when he first saw me. And he said, I saw that you were carrying a firearm. I said, yeah, absolutely. Everywhere I go.
It's normal for you.
It's very normal. Yeah. It's just like grabbing your car keys or your phone. Just, grab my SIG 9mm and, put it in my back pocket. So
it's just like a wallet.
That was a huge thing for people, and not just the gun thing, but
does it have a credit card holder on it too? Possibly?
No, I don't want to lose them all at once.
I got you. Like your phone, they have the credit card holders.
Yep.
You flick the little thing and they all pop up maybe.
Yep. Yeah. So, and the third main reason they were leaving the state of California, to come to Tennessee was political opinion.
Yeah.
Many of the conservatives in the state of California are leaving there because they don't agree with the way that it's going out there.
And has been going.
Yeah. So because they don't agree with the left-leaning policies of the leadership in California, the last time California voted for a Republican president was in 1988 for Bush Sr.
Oh, wow.
It's been that long.
And, look at that situation and ask yourself, how's it working out?
How's it working out?
How's it working out since?
So it costs more money to live there. You're paying higher taxes, and yet still don't get the personal freedoms that you feel you are owed.
And, the proof is in the pudding. Look around all the different areas in the country that are blue, not just states, but cities, and here you have Davidson County, which is primarily, I would say definitely blue. You have the county where Memphis is, definitely blue. I want to say Knoxville. Knoxville's the same way, I think. So all the city centers, county-wise, are blue counties, and they're absolute holes. Davidson County is not what it used to be 20 years ago.
Yeah. It's definitely trending one direction over another, and I feel like we get that, in all the major metropolitan cities tend to gravitate blue, and then when you get out to the rural areas and the smaller communities, tend to, not an overall specific, but a trending that way, and tend to have, different viewpoints as the inner city does.
Yeah. Interesting. What was your next question?
So again, put this out on social media, Q&A, anything you want to know about Middle Tennessee, buying, selling a home, that good stuff.
Which is obviously, oddly enough, they can buy and sell a home through you. Isn't that crazy?
They can.
They totally
I
can.
have been a real estate agent here in Nashville and the suburbs of Nashville for 20 years, Mr. Jim.
20 years. And not only that, you've been here a majority of your life. You were here before the influx. As long as I've lived here, you've been a realtor, which is 20 years.
Yep.
And I wish I moved here in the 90s because it would have been very advantageous.
Yeah, we moved here in 1988. I was 7 years old in second grade.
And all your formative years, you were here, which means where all the bodies are buried, where all the places to be and not to be, the history of places. I mean, guys, this is the person to go to.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right.
Experience. Been around the block a time or two.
Yes, you have.
So, all right, going back to our questions. What are the main things to focus on when selling a home? All right, this is a lot of people kind of make this bigger than it actually is. There's only 3 or 4 main things when selling a home: price, condition, location, and exposure. So let's break that down. Price. Are you competitively priced with others in the market, things that you're competing with? If you're way too high, then you're going to sit on the market for a while. That's just a part of it. If you don't bring something that really stands out and shows exponential value, then you are not going to be chosen when going up against other properties that are similar.
Yeah.
Number 2, condition. How does your home compare to the competition as far as, does it need roof? Does it need HVAC? Do you have any updates in it? Or is it just original the way it was when you bought it? Because you're going to be comparing with those other properties on the market that have put in updates, upgrades. What's the newest trends? What color palettes are out there? What tile patterns are out there? What hardwood flooring colors have changed significantly since I first got into real estate. Everything used to be dark. Now people want lighter flooring, lighter colors, that type thing. So if someone's looking at your neighbor's house that happens to be for sale, that is updated with all, the new trends and new styles, and yours is original from 1988, guess what? You're not going to be comparable.
Your price better reflect that.
Your price better reflect the upgrades and updates that are needed. Location. Unfortunately, not much you can do about this one.
Right.
Where your house is where your house is. So people definitely like to buy homes in areas that they see are growing, that their property value has maintained over the course of time, and areas where infrastructure is coming in and there's room for growth, because they see it as, yes, it's a place they want to live, but they want to see the upside potential of what their investment can be. Fourth is kind of, I think, the most important, exposure. Now, if you're trying to sell your home, do you have an agent that invests in your home? Are they just coming and taking pictures and putting it on the market? Are they investing in the media, the high-end drone work, videography, pictures? Are they spending hours cutting film and coming up with creative ways to market your home?
What's the most creative way you saw?
Oh, I've seen some great videos.
You ever see the people that built the roller coaster tour inside their house?
There's a girl right now that has gone viral that goes into her listings and whispers. She whispers.
Why does she whisper?
She's going, here's the master bedroom. Look at the coffered ceilings and the paint. And
is that for ASMR?
I have but she is killing it.
Really?
It's different.
Yeah.
So you have to have an agent that understands, the social media trends, and all you're doing is trying to get attention on that property.
Yeah.
So what is your agent doing that is creative and different from everybody else that drives the attention to your property?
There was a guy here locally. He's not even a realtor, but I think he might have been marketing for a realtor. And he hired me to do a voiceover. And it was like akin to a rom-com.
Mm-hmm.
He was a country boy. She's a big city girl, that kind of thing. And apparently got a ton of views and sold the house. So he made like a mock faux Lifetime.
Was it the Hallmark movie?
Hallmark movie type of.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. It was a local guy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah. Creativity.
He actually sent that to my good friend Jana Kramer, who acts in a bunch of these
Hallmark movies.
I was like, all right, we're getting you on to do a listing for me one of these days.
That's crazy.
So let me see here. What else is on my list? Oh, I wanted to definitely give a shout out. So people that invest in creative ways of marketing, one of the absolute best in the business here in Nashville is my good friend Dan McEwen. His team has the incredible talent of creating a feel for a property. He's a true storyteller. He mainly does larger farms and land and stuff like that, but he has an incredible ability to tell a story about a property just by looking at their videos. It's a work of art. Like he's someone I look up to and the absolute top of his game.
Do you think realtors show enough of their personality? Because I see a lot of those videos, they seem to run together. Like you stand out because you put a lot of your personality out there. You call turkeys a-holes. You make fun of, rock star, seemingly wannabe rock star influencers and stuff like that. That's what makes you. You're showing yourself shooting machine guns, going fishing with your kids, going hunting, all that stuff. That's what I like about. Like every time I see something come up from you on my Instagram, I go, "What's he doing?" You know what I mean? So I mean,
that's what I'm trying to do. Is I learned a long time ago, authenticity is what people are looking for.
Yeah.
So
just be you.
When you hire a realtor, it is a long relationship. So you might as well work with somebody that you like, that you get along with. I've joked before that, I learn so much about my clients. I could, I know about their marriage. I know about their financing. I know about their kids, what sports are they in, everything. So you really want somebody that you can click with. Yes, you need to see their track record and how successful they are and homes sold and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But you definitely want to enjoy the time you have with them, because it is a long process compared to, let's say you're buying a car. You go in and you meet the salesman and a couple hours later it's done. In real estate, you're going to be with this person for anywhere from 30 days to, 6 months.
How are you at keeping in contact with all your clients?
My clients?
Yeah.
I feel that is my strong suit.
Really?
I just love people, man.
Yeah.
I love relationships. And, we were saying earlier on the podcast that we just shot that, a client will become a friend far easier than a friend will become a client.
Right.
Just you're so invested with these people that you just become such great friends.
Here's something to pick out.
And so when I touch base with past clients, they're friends.
Catching up with an old friend.
Yeah, catching up with an old friend.
If you're listening to this and you're getting a taste of Middle Tennessee real estate and you're kind of putting your toe in the water, go back and listen to all of Nick's episodes. I've been producing his podcast now for several months, and they are all like you're just interviewing your buddies right now at this point. Look at the caliber of these people. They're not just, they're good people. They're, so not random at all, but they all have, there's a caliber, a high quality caliber that you have made an impression on. And these people obviously reciprocate, if that makes sense. Yeah. You know what I mean?
These are deep relationships. Right.
They're deep relationships. They know you, you've got history with them. And these are people, some of them have done some pretty big things. Yeah. The guy that we just had on, he's here 3 years from California, sang your praises, already sent you 3 or 4 referrals, That's a big deal. That's a very big deal, because it's whenever you meet somebody new, especially from out of state, some people are just cynical. They want to get to know them,
So going back to our question, what are the main things to focus on when selling a home? We've got price, condition, location, exposure. How much effort is your agent putting in to expose your property to the masses? And one of the main things a lot of people don't think about is how connected is your agent? Are they friends with other agents? Most listed properties, I hate to tell you guys this, most listed properties are shared with other agents long before they go on the MLS. When I have a new property I know that we're going to put on the market, the very first thing I do is reach out to my vast network of other agents that are successful in this area, and I get that information about the home in front of those people long before it ever hits MLS. So they're looking through their database of people, their current buyers, people they're working with to see what might be a fit before it even goes on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, we were talking about this not long ago. So, the market now, it's all around here is always going to be low inventory, high demand. That's just the way it is. It's been that way for 20 years since I've been working here. A lot of people would contact me and say, "Man, I saw a property hit the MLS, and then the very next day it showed that it was pending under contract. What happened? Did people flood in and it happened all of a sudden?" I go, "No, that agent worked out a deal with another agent weeks ago." Mm-hmm. So there was already interest on that property long before it hit the MLS. So that house was not just sold in one day. It was probably sold 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it just now hit the MLS. So there's a massive advantage when selling if your agent is connected with other agents in the area.
Yeah. Makes sense.
All right, on to another question. What are the most important features your buyer clients are looking for in a home? Quick answer, kitchens, outdoor living areas, and schools. But to go deeper, I try to help clients picture what it's going to be like once they move in and the newness is worn off. Everybody is always excited about a new home. What are the features of that home? I've always wanted this and this home has it. I'm so excited. Okay, that's great, but let's step back a little bit. Okay, once you get into that home, the newness is going to wear off and you're going to be living your daily life again. So things I want my clients to think about before moving forward with a purchase: what is your daily commute going to look like? Where do you work? You want your home to be relatively close to where you work. If you want to go live out in the middle of, 50 acres somewhere, but you work downtown Nashville, are you going to be comfortable commuting an hour and 15 minutes both ways every single day?
If you're from California, you will.
That may be, take an hour to go 2 miles out there.
Yeah.
So another one is, where do they go to church? How far is the grocery store? Things like this. Are you going to be easily accessible to the things you need to do on a daily basis. Because if you're not, you're going to regret that decision. Where you hang out with your friends, where do you socialize? Do you have kids? Did they play sports? Are they socially active? You know, your quote unquote perfect house may not fit with your current lifestyle. For example, I'm a bit of a country boy. I like my space. I like to live, you know, I would love to live on 50 acres in the woods, take a lap around the fishing pond every morning, you know, go walk through the woods at night, hop on the tractor at the end of the day. That is my perfect living situation.
You want to walk through the woods at night?
I love it.
Dude, that's like the most terrifying thing I can think of.
It's not.
Do you come across a Slender Man or anything like that? Or Bigfoot?
No, you're always carrying. So this is Tennessee. I mean, So to go back to that, like I would love for that to be my home and the way that I live. But I've got 3 young kids. They play 6 sports on 6 different teams. If I lived on a farm, I would be shuttling kids everywhere constantly 10 hours a day. So instead, I live in a neighborhood full of other kids that's right across from the street from their schools. So my quote unquote perfect house doesn't fit my current lifestyle needs. So that has to go into play when we're talking about, you know, where you should buy a home. That'll come down the road. You know, I'll have my home on 50 acres that I can go fish every morning and walk through the woods and do all that. But right now, that is not conducive to my lifestyle.
Right.
So I try to have clients look at, okay, what is your daily grind going to look like once you get in this home, once the newness has settled? Where are you going to church? How far is your commute to work? Your kids play sports. Where are they going to be playing sports? Where do you gravitate towards? You need to think about those things before buying a home. What do you think about that, Mr. Jim?
I like them. Those are good questions. And it's like, as I'm thinking, you know, obviously your station in life and where you are in life plays into that. And I think to myself, where would I want to? I know I want a house with at least a minimum of a 4-car garage.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
My perfect home would have, I want to build a home that has 2 sets of washers and dryers, like a laundromat.
Yeah.
I want to go in and knock everybody's stuff out in one go instead of in and out, in and out, in and out. I want 2 to 3 sets of washers and dryers.
What about like a clothesline? Have like the old school drying your clothes on a clothesline so you get all the outside smell.
Do you understand a family of 5?
It's a lot of clothes. Yes, I do. I have a family of 5.
All right, another question that came in when I was asking, you know, Q&A questions on my social media. Why has Williamson County's property value stayed so high for so long? So I've been doing this for 20 years. I've never seen property values go down in Williamson County. Even in 08, 09, maybe we had a little bit of a blip, say 3%, 4%, but within a year it came right back. My answer to that question, there's a few reasons, but one reason trumps them all. Schools. Williamson County schools.
Yeah.
People want to send their kids to the best schools, and the demand for great schools has kept Williamson County homes in high demand for as long as I've been in real estate. So I just looked at a recent ranking done by usnews.com. 8 Williamson County high schools rank in the top 26 out of 462 high schools in the entire state. At the top, we've got number 4 Brentwood High School in Brentwood, Tennessee. Number 5 Ravenwood High School in Brentwood. 7 is Franklin High. 12 is Page High in Franklin. 13 was Nolensville High in Nolensville, Tennessee. 16 was Independence High in Thompson Station. 23rd was Centennial High in Franklin. And number 26 was Summit in Spring Hill. So
Go Summit.
Think about this. That is 8 high schools ranked in the top 26 out of 462 state schools.
We had something like 4 or 5 kids last year score perfectly on the ACT. Not crazy.
So long story short, the reason property values in Williamson County have stayed high so long, yes, we can say, yeah, wonderful community. It's beautiful. We've got great parks. We've got, access to Nashville, all those things. It comes down to one thing, in my opinion, and it is the school system. It is 100% responsible for keeping property values up. So there you go.
There you go, man.
All right, guys, we're going to do a couple more of these as questions come in, but those were the 3 that came in right off the chute that people wanted answers to. So I wanted to hop on here and shed some light on those questions. Again, if you have any thoughts of moving to Williamson County, Nashville, Rutherford County, any of the surrounding areas, I would love the opportunity to speak with you. I've been in the real estate business for 20 years now. It's all I know. It's all I've ever done. And I grew up here, was raised here. I absolutely love this place, raising my kids here. So if there's any questions, anything I can help you with, feel free to reach out. I would love to have the opportunity to speak with you about how I might be able to serve you. So thanks for joining the podcast today. We'll see you on the next one.